Hi, welcome to our video tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about the similarities and differences of buying a condominium and selling a home. My name is Blair Sonics and I'm celebrating my 40th anniversary in real estate. We're going to be looking today at this process of offers to purchases on a condominium. You'll see there's 5 pages that make up an offer to purchase, and the manner in which we go about filling out the information in an offer to purchase is gathered from an MLS listing agreement. When buying a condo, it's like a different language. We talk about things that are such as reserve fund studies, and we talk about common element costs. We talk about common area fees that are covered or paid out of a reserve fund. It's so important as a purchaser buying a condominium that you've met with your realtor and gone over the different lifestyles that are being offered, first of all. But secondly, when you've come to the realization that yes, this is what I'd like to buy, that you've got the information in front of you to make a knowledgeable decision on what it is that you're going to be offering and the terms that will be included in your offer. For an example, we cover off basically 5 things in an offer to purchase. We're looking for, first of all, the registered owner's names that you're going to be purchasing from, as well as the buyer. We're looking for things such as the offered price, the possession date, the inclusions, and then lastly, we're looking for any conditions that may be needed for your protection. These are very similar to when you're purchasing a home or purchasing a condominium. Those are 5 essential components or ingredients, if you want to call them, that make up the offer to purchase. When we reflect on condominiums in particular, you'll be provided with a lot of documentation that cover off things such as declaration clauses, bylaws, in building insurance, reserve fund studies. You'll be introduced to a form called a disclosure statement, which speaks specifically about the suite or the unit that you were purchasing and identifies a lot of questions that you may want answered in that disclosure statement. This information is made readily available for you to review for a 7-day cooling off period. That period is giving you an opportunity to familiarize yourself with the lifestyle of, in fact, buying a condominium. That is different than buying a home. When you buy a home, you've made your decision on buying it, and there is no cooling off period. There are conditions you can place into the offer, but not like that of a condominium. When buying a condo, there's another part that people often aren't aware of, and that is called material changes that can happen during the course of from when you purchase the property to when you are actually taking physical possession. Material changes have to be reported to the buyer so that they are made familiar with what may have been voted on to occur or something that has come up that's going to have an added cost or expense. Material changes are such things as if there is a repair that is needing to be completed and came up as a result of something obviously that broke down or needed to be addressed. But the nice part about that from a buyer standpoint is you are made aware in advance of taking possession of material changes that occur to the building, and giving you the opportunity to review those changes and to confirm that you're in a position to go forward with the transaction with the understanding that those changes are in fact happening. Another part of the offer to purchase when dealing with a condominium is the conditions for financing and inspection. So financing is typically a time frame that you would offer the seller to be able to organize your appraisal, organize the process of establishing the value of what it is that you've purchased, and of course getting your interest rate committed to by the lending institution. The second part of that, of course, is the inspection of the suite. It's a little bit less intense or intrusive as that what you would have in the sale of a home, where the home inspector may be there for 3 hours reviewing your home that you've lived in for the last 15 or 20 years. In a condominium, the inspection is somewhat less intrusive, but yet offers for the purchaser peace of mind to know details about the building or the structure or the suite itself. That together coupled with what's called the reserve fund study. And the reserve fund is a detailed breakdown of life expectancies on specific items within the building, on the grounds, both mechanical, electrical, plumbing. The reserve fund study is a valuable resource that offers a future glimpse to what may occur to items as they depreciate or as their life gets used. Now, the reserve fund study makes projections as well that deal with the replacement of those items, and therefore money needs to be accumulated over time in order so when those items mature, there's resources available for the condominium project to replace those particular items. That reserve fund, as they call it, needs to be relatively consistent to both the age of the building and the depreciable items that as the building continues to age. So when you are looking at condominiums, you're going to want to make sure that the realtor is providing you with all of the information that we've covered off here and giving you an opportunity not only to review them, but that information, but also to explain what it is that you were purchasing into and how that building and that investment may perform for you. Having made a statement like that just now, you can see that not just any realtor is going to be able to answer those questions necessarily to your satisfaction, and may be needing to call upon experiences that they've heard, seen, or been a part of in previous transactions to offer you not only the information you're looking for, but also the assurances or the explanations to the questions that you have, which may very well be uncertainties or just looking for clarifications. When you're looking for a condominium, find a realtor that's familiar with those projects, familiar with the process, and is in a position not to sell you anything, but rather to help you choose the lifestyle that you're looking for. Now let's talk a little bit about selling a home. When it comes to selling a home, again, you find yourself in a situation where you're interviewing the realtor and that is familiar not only with your location, but also familiar with the amenities that are offered there and helping to establish value. In an ever-changing market, we see 3 values for properties. Those 3 values are, first of all, the value that you feel your home may be worth, and certainly is worth to you based on the improvements you've made, based on your the experience you've had with that property, and that value is taken into consideration when it comes time to establishing an asking price for your home. But the second value that we deal with is one that's called past performance or comparative market analysis. That market analysis deals with properties that have sold in the last 18 months in the area, and through reviewing those properties and comparing them to your home, adjustments are made to help to establish what that value might be. To arrive at that value, we have to make adjustments, adding or subtracting improvements or items that have not been improved in comparison to your home versus the comparables that had sold, to help us to establish what we would be calling fair market value. Then there's another one, which is dealing with market price. And market price is what the property is worth to the buyer at the time that they're in the market for buying a home similar to yours. Market price is very difficult to measure and has a tendency to swing based on external influences. Those influences can be rates of interest, supply of homes to choose from, condition of the property that's being sold, changes in government for financing of properties if they're looking at stress testing or making changes to that. These are all factors that weigh in on the buyer when making the decision to buy a home, and these drive the buyer's motivation. When a buyer goes for pre-qualification, for example, for a particular interest rate, that interest rate is guaranteed for 90 to 120 days. If the buyer is getting near the end of their guarantee on their rate, it could be costing them 0.5%, could be costing them 0.25%. If they don't purchase a property soon, they'll lose that rate that's been promised to them by the lending institution. That can be a motivation that drives market price. Has nothing to do with the value of the home, but has everything to do with what the buyer may lose as a result of having an interest rate change, which then affects their buying power or their buying ability or their monthly payments. The amount of interest they'll be paying over a 25, 15, 5-year period of time. Those are all measurable values that weigh into the buyer when they're dealing with helping to make a buying decision and dealing with market price. So the three areas again when selling your property is your value based on your experiences with your home, market value based on similar homes that have sold in the area, and market price, which are influencing factors that drive prices up or down based on what's going on in the market at that particular day, week, or month. When it comes to selling the property, the process again is similar when writing an offer to purchase. You'll be, of course, reviewing an offer from the other side of the table. You'll be looking at all of the items that the buyer has put into the offer, the inclusions, the possession date, the purchase price, the deposit, the furtherance of cash, the conditions for their protection, the home inspection clause possibly, a property seller disclosure statement clause possibly. And after reviewing those particular items, you'll make a decision based on what you're needing to sell your home for and how things are aligning with your plans when selling the property. Now, the realtor that'll be helping you to gather that information, helping you to market the property, bring it to the market, that is another tutorial all on its own. And I want to just take an opportunity right now to thank you for listening through this process when looking at at buying a condominium versus selling a home. How there is some similarities, but there are substantial differences as well. I would welcome a call from you at 204-989-5000 to speak with you specifically about your needs, to have a chance to talk about your concerns and schedule a time where we can get together and review those particular items that are of specific interest to you, which then will allow us to put your mind at ease, set you on the right path, and possibly even enter into an agreement to work together. Look forward to hearing from you, from Nancy and Tyson and Belinda and myself, Blair Sonicson. I want to wish you all the best. Please stay safe, and until we have a chance to talk again yet on our next video tutorial.